Hey all, so today I want to discuss a stock that I think is the real winner when it comes to the AI revolution. I don't think it's Nvidia, and I've already laid out my thesis as to why in another video. I'll put it in the description or on your screen right now. You can go and watch that one. But the company I think that benefits most from the AI chip boom is ASML. For those of you that are not familiar with ASML, I'll play a quick video just to introduce you to the company and what they do, and then we'll go into three reasons why I think that this company is the real winner when it comes to the AI revolution. So let's first have a quick intro to ASML, and then we'll go into the three reasons why I think this is the company that will truly come out on top when it comes to the AI revolution.
More than 100 layers, and every structure needs to connect perfectly. A chip is a tiny skyscraper. Its circuitry often includes billions of transistors and stretches through more than 100 layers, and every structure needs to connect perfectly. At ASML, we build hardware and software that helps our customers mass produce this microscopic circuitry. Our lithography systems print chip patterns by shining light from a source onto a blueprint or mask, and then harnessing that light with optics to transfer the patterns to silicon wafers. But in the world of nanometers, physical and chemical processes deform the pattern. So as chip features continue to shrink, lithography becomes more challenging and more crucial. As lithography experts, we fundamentally understand the processes that influence chip patterning, and we develop models and algorithms that predict how a pattern will print on a wafer. Using these insights, we can then adjust for any deformations and tune the lithography system to produce the best possible image. We call this computational lithography. First, our source optimization tools meticulously adjust the illumination to produce sharper images of critical chip features. Our mask optimization tools design masks that correct for optical effects so chip patterns appear exactly as intended on the wafer. Light heats and deforms the optics, so our wavefront optimization tools reshape the light once more to ensure that the pattern prints correctly. And we do this pattern by pattern, layer by layer, chip by chip, wafer by wafer, at the volume, speed, and robustness our customers need for mass production. As these tiny skyscrapers continue to grow and their features continue to shrink, our work gets harder, but we're up to the challenge. We're committed to powering technology forward with you.
So there you go. That's just a small gist of what ASML is. So in summary, ASML basically makes the machines that makes the chips. Customers include TSMC, Samsung, Intel fabs, basically all of the world's largest chip fabricators use ASML machines, and there is really no alternative. Their technology, they've put in so much R&D into it that they are decades ahead of the competition. And that brings me to the first point why I think that ASML is a great company to invest in, which is their deep economic moat. So for those of you that don't know what an economic moat is, here's Warren Buffett explaining it, which is basically a business with a long-lasting moat has some sort of protective castle essentially around their business that stops competitors from entering the space. It could be a great brand like Coca-Cola, Pepsi. It could be a brand that mass produces, that which brings down unit costs, making it harder for new competitors to enter and compete with them at the price point, right? Which can be, companies like H&M. They have a moat just because they have such a large customer base. They sell so much. They have basically the power of economies of scale. And another moat is technological. If a company has invested heavily in R&D, like ASML, then they have a technological advantage over others. ASML's technology is almost a decade ahead of any real competitor, and they invest heavily in R&D even today, which means that they will stay ahead of the pack when it comes to the competition. And I guess my second point, as far as why I'm investing in ASML currently, is the price. You can have the greatest company on earth. If it's overvalued, it's not a buy. But for ASML, it's seen a little bit of a pullback recently. And I think the market has basically overreacted here. You can see that it reached a high of around 1,000 euros. It is also listed on the Nasdaq's prices, which is converted to US dollars. But the recent high was around 1,000 euros, and then it's fallen to about 700-ish euros currently. And that is basically because of the pandemic era, essentially spending boom, where people were ordering a lot of electronics. The demand for chips skyrocketed faster than the natural growth rate, which created, a bump in revenues initially, but a small fall. I think this is really inconsequential over the long term. The industry is growing, the chip market's growing, and ASML is clearly projected to gain back basically to the same revenue levels in 2025. Same with net income, you'll see a small decline just because a lot of spending was front loaded during the pandemic, but this will come back pretty quickly. I'm sure of it, just because of how AI is basically exploding and the demand for these advanced chips is going through the roof, and the only company that makes the machine, that makes the chips, is ASML. And other than that, these levels of net income, free cash flow, and ASML's gross margin allow it to invest heavily back into R&D, which is necessary for it to maintain its economic moat. The company invests close to 3 billion euros a year in R&D. So, which essentially means that it's going to be hard for anyone to come in and compete with them. A, they're already ahead, and B, they continue to pour money into R&D, which makes sure they stay ahead. So that is basically the financial breakdown. I think it is a great stock. It has a great economic moat, and on top of that, it has a great price right now. You're essentially getting this company for a bargain, just because the markets are overreacting to this small step down in revenues and net income, which was basically derived from the excessive spending that happened during the pandemic. And on top of that, the third thing that I think makes this a real winner is, yes, the AI market is going to continue to explode. I think these calculations by McKinsey are a little bit conservative. I think it will be even more than this, but you need advanced chips everywhere. We're talking autonomous cars, or even cars that have driver assist, right? Automatic cruise control, lane changing. Those kinds of features require a lot of computational power, right? And you can see that the demand for advanced chips to be used in those applications is almost going to triple by 2030, right? And wireless communication, we have 5G coming out. 5G is going to require more advanced modems and cell towers, and again, more computational needed there. You need the most advanced chips, and the only company that makes the machine that makes those advanced chips is the ASML. And finally, of course, computing and data storage. A large portion of this is the expansion in data centers because of the AI boom. I think that this will be even greater than what McKinsey here has predicted by 2030. But overall, the market for these advanced chips is still going to double by the end of this decade. So ASML is also in an industry that overall is just growing so quickly. And the fact that it is the only, and I can't stress this enough, it's basically a monopoly. It is the only company that makes that machine, that makes these advanced chips. So these three reasons, which is essentially a great economic moat, an outstanding price to buy the stock at currently, and the fact that ASML is in an industry that is also growing rapidly, to me makes this a great investment. So that basically concludes my thesis. Please let me know what you think. Do you agree with it? Do you not? What are your reasonings? Just leave a comment down below. I love to read through those. And yeah, have a great day, and I'll see you back in another video.